but it's all good. What's going on, everyone? I'm Chris Baker.
And I'm Ty Backer.
Welcome to episode 156 of Behind the Toolbelt with TC Backer Construction.
TC Backer. Roofing, siding, windows, gutter, solar. Roofing, siding, windows, gutter, solar. TC Backer, TC Backer.
Behind the Tool Belt is sponsored by Lead Scout. Find out more at leadscoutapp.com.
TC Backer, TC Backer.
That was quick.
Boom. TC Backer family. Welcome to episode 156. Hopefully you guys are staying warm, man. It's cold as hell up here in Pennsylvania. I think it is all across the world. I seen TJ McCormick post on his Facebook the other day, or actually earlier today, that they're going to get like negative 50 degrees overnight tonight or some shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Colorado?
Colorado, yeah. Crazy. So we got a very special guest. And before we jump into this, man, I just want to let you guys know that we have a surprise for you guys about midway through the episode. I'm not going to disclose what's going to happen here, but we got something different. We're going to be throwing something out there. So all you guys that have been following along here for 3 years, today is actually, Ty, today is actually the 3-year anniversary, bro.
Get the fuck out.
This is the 3-year anniversary, man.
Really?
52 weeks in a year, 52 times 3 is 156. This is episode 156. So
That's
happy
awesome.
3 years, brother.
Finally.
That's crazy.
Man.
Yeah.
Crazy. So
Yeah,
we got
finally.
something special for you guys halfway through this episode. But without further ado, we don't want to take the show hostage here, man. Brandon Allen, what the fuck is going on, bro?
Brandon Allen, Brookens Construction, man. What's happening, bro? What's happening out there in Wisconsin?
Cold, like you said. Got a big snowstorm on the way for tomorrow. Hunkering down, getting ready for Christmas. Got some trips planned. Just enjoying it, man. Loving it.
That's awesome. What kind of trips do you have planned? Where are you going?
Actually, Christmas Day, we're heading out with the family, driving down to Florida. Going to hang out there for about a week. And then we've got a Brookens Construction employees and spouses trip that's at the end of January. We're taking the team down to Punta Cana for a week, like 8 or 9 days. I don't know if you guys have heard of GutterCon.
No.
I've been around for like this is the second or third year, but I kind of caught wind of that, and I'm thinking about doing that like first or second week in February. So yeah, man, just keeping busy through the winter, trying to stay educated, stay motivated, stay tan, you know.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about, man. So speaking of the end of the year stuff, like, so at Brookens Construction, what are you guys doing to prepare yourself for the end of the year stuff, right? And like getting ready to transition to 2023.
Great question.
Yeah. It is a great question, man. So like, I think we're pretty much in sync with like building season, at least for roofing. Yeah, I think it must have been about November 22nd was when we quit roofing. I know that because it was about the beginning of deer season. But you know, we haven't been roofing now for what it's been a month. So really we take this time to collect up on AR, right? And then you've always got punch list stuff. I mean, you just really want to get things cleaned up before the heavy snow, the big freeze comes for the year. But then once that happens, it's for us, it's all about continuing education, looking back at the year. I mean, we've gotten better and better over the years about collecting data so that at the end of the year, we can go back and take a look at like, what the hell happened? This was a seriously crazy year for us. So it's going to be super interesting to go back, get everybody's feedback, find out, where we could have done better, what we could have done less of and more of, and just come back next year and, do it over and do it even bigger. I really, we've had this like kind of scale, right? Where we go up and double our revenue, then we plateau the next year, then we double again, then we plateau. And that's kind of been like our MO from the beginning. And so on those scaling years, they're very, very intense, right? Like there's so much that you have to learn, new systems, new processes, new things are popping up, like things you've never dealt with. And then on the plateau year, it's like we're just doing what we did last year. We've built the system, we're checking it again, right? And then we're ready to scale up again and recover in cash flow. That's a huge part of it. But those second years are kind of like, I'm not going to say you don't have to work, but you have to work about half as hard to do the same revenue once you figured out the systems and processes. So yeah, now we need to dial in them systems and processes so that we can take it up to the next level.
Right. Dude, I love that, man. Yeah. I love that. I want to add to that a little bit. We talk about up here a lot of times that it's not necessarily about picking up more work sometimes. It's about, honing in the processes, getting more efficient, running more lean and mean, so you can increase that bottom line. That's a lot of times, and that's just simply, being more aware of your materials, being more aware of, time spent, wasted time spent, gas station.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of times you don't,
stuff.
You don't actually need to do more in revenue or pick up more business. Sometimes those in between years is where it's like, okay, let's tweak our systems. Let's do the same amount of work, but be more profitable. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like so if we were shooting for 10 last year, let's go for 15% net, this year, but do the same amount of volume. So being one of the biggest players in our industry right now, and a lot of people may or may not know of Brookens Construction, but we're well aware of Brookens because we run in the same circle of friends and people in networking. Revolt is our family. And so that's how I know of you guys. And I'm sure a lot of people in Wisconsin and on that side of the world know you guys, but you being the player that you guys are in the industry right now, like what has been probably one of your biggest lessons learned that you probably won't do again next year? And what is one of probably the biggest things you have learned that you're going to try to implement next year?
Man.
And it could be multiple things, man. Fucking put it out there, man. Be as authentic as possible, man.
I told you we're about to figure all that stuff out, man. Dude, so like I said, we've always doubled revenue. This year we like quadrupled it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know how much of a mess we made yet. Like I know there's things that throughout the year I just pushed off because it wasn't high enough priority. It wasn't important enough to focus on because I knew the direction that we needed to go. I honestly, dude, at this point, if I was at 3 or 4x again, we'd be looking at 75 to 100 million. I have no interest in doing that in a year. I really don't. I mean, and I hear guys all the time that are just starting out that are like maybe doing $500,000 or $1 million in revenue. And they're like, next year, we're going to do 5 or 10. And I'm like, that's inspiring, dude, but you don't understand what it takes to do that. Like biggest limiting factor is going to be cash flow, especially in the insurance world. You just can't get paid fast enough to support that kind of growth unless you're borrowing money, which we don't do. And I wouldn't recommend because there's so many freaking traps in this industry. Right.
Yes.
So as fast as we scaled, even though we really weren't even pushing, although we had our company retreat last year, and I remember standing up there, I had basically 1 or 2 people on the team. When I said, hey, our goal is $20 million, 1 or 2 people believe me, right? Everybody else is like, how the fuck are we going to do that? Like, what are you talking about, man? Mm-hmm. And honestly, the one thing that I didn't know how we were going to do was cash flow it, right? I was like, we can get the work. We got the sales force. We got the processes down. Like, we'll figure that stuff out. But how are we going to pay for this? And as it turns out, man, like we can get into that. But just there was some really fate type of things that just happened to fall into place in the right place at the right time and allowed us to kind of grow the way we did. And without them 2 big events, it wouldn't have been able to happen. But to answer the question of like, what would you not do again? I would not try to 4X again. We got lucky, right? We skated by, but there was a lot of risk involved in scaling at that kind of a rate, honestly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I want to make a comment here real quick. John Stauffer said in the comments, believe it. That's what you do to make that happen. And just to elaborate on that a little bit,
Yeah.
I'm sure that you can agree with me, Brandon. One of the biggest things is getting your team to believe in it.
Yeah.
Getting the team to believe in the vision. You know what I mean? Listen, there's been numerous times that I've stood in the office with this guy and he said some crazy shit that, other people might think is crazy, but like, there's a certain select few of us around here that don't think that he's crazy. You know what I mean? We believe that shit. I stand behind him. And, we've had a couple episodes or an episode that we've talked about the hypothetical bullet. You know what I mean? That you got to make sure that you're surrounded in your circle of safety with the people that would take the hypothetical bullet for you and just follow you to war and do whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever it takes. There is, failure isn't an option. And knowing when to have that sense of urgency, knowing when to hit the brake, knowing when to hit the gas. And like, I don't think that his go-kart has a brake, but
I'm still a little sore from the go-kart try.
I did that on purpose.
Thanks, buddy. I was just telling him, I haven't told anybody how bad my back hurts until tonight. I was like, dude, I haven't said anything to anybody, but dude, my back is all ganked up from we flipped the cart twice. But getting back to good poke there, bud.
Yeah,
Thank
bro.
you. But getting back to, growing as fast as the cash will allow you is probably one of the biggest nuggets that you could possibly tell somebody early on, because I think a lot of people who start out in business think, well, I need to come up with a business plan and go to the bank and I got to get a business loan. Bullshit.
Right.
Bullshit. I lived in a fucking 1980 E350 van down by the river with a compressor. It took me an hour and 45 minutes to get started every morning because the spark plug was saturated with gas, right? Like, so you don't need a line of credit or a business loan. Now, don't get me wrong. After a while, getting a line at your distributor and stuff like that definitely helps with the cash flow. But as far as having like a line of credit or a business loan or anything like that, it's just, go out there, bust your ass, keep your tool pouch on for a while, do what you got to do to make payroll, pay your bills, and things start to come to fruition, right? And Chris, like you were talking about, and Brandon, you touched on a little bit, surrounding yourself around the right people, right? Like having the right people, in the seats on the bus, has helped you grow the way that you did as fast as you have. And I think one of the things that you started to probably realize is that you probably didn't have enough people. So you and your brothers were probably putting in a lot of hours, like any good entrepreneur that's trying to scale would do. But like you said, you start to burn your team out. You start to get burnt out. And like you said, like 75 mil just doesn't seem that interesting, because honestly, when you get to that point there, you find that sweet spot, I think, over time, where it's like, we can do 20 million with a 15 to 20% net profit, right? Well, when you get up to 75 and you're only doing 5% net, what's the point? You're just spending more money.
Yeah.
Because that was going to be one of the questions I asked you.
Burning yourself out.
Yeah. Do you think that, where you're at right now, do you think that's sustainable with the economic climate, for one, and two, was it really even worth getting there and staying there? Because I know from my experience, the threshold of pain and stress, mine's a little higher than most people, and obviously yours too, to get to where you're at, to be a high performing person. You have to have some kind of threshold of pain that's a little more than normal, right? But I think with the intelligence that you have, I heard what you were saying, like it's probably not even worth doing another 4X.
Yeah. I'm kind of joking about this, but I'm really not. Like, if I don't figure out how to get my freaking taxes figured out, dude, it's definitely not going to be worth it to do anymore. I mean, you're basically like, what, 80% of your earnings are above in the top tax bracket. Like, why would I work that hard to give here? It'll be 42.5% of that away. And I know there's ways to do it, but like, dude, I've got meetings lined up all week with tax strategists, my accountant, things like that. And I'm like, yeah, I've got 9 days to figure something out. And I just don't think it's going to happen. And that's bad on me. Right. But The tax situation is very real at that level. I mean, you're looking at paying more in taxes than a lot of people make in their entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that freaking stings, dude. Like, I don't want to give it all away,
No, and I think that's something that a lot of business owners go through because none of the books that I've read has what to do throughout the course of the year to keep your taxes at a manageable level at the end of the year. I mean, an accountant or somebody like that could tell you that, but with the hours that you're putting in, it's just something that you don't think about. And then at the end of the year comes around, it's like, oh shit. So it's one of those learning experiences that you're experiencing right now as a younger entrepreneur. I don't even know if that's accurate or not, but being, not a generational, because I assume you guys are probably a first generation roofing contractor like myself. Like, this wasn't handed to you on a silver spoon. You guys out there busted your ass to get where you're at. And that's same with me too. Hard knocks, right? Like, I've learned the hard way where it's like, oh fuck, I'm paying penalties. I set up a payment plan, give them a big chunk. I set up a payment plan. I extend my to do my taxes out that extra 6 months, file for an extension that way. That gave me 6 months to get it paid off before I do my taxes for next year, so I don't get railed again. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, I'm trying to put money back to save towards our taxes. And the best thing to do is actually try to predict what it is that you think you're going to pay in taxes and pay on your taxes throughout the course of the year. But if you're anything like I am, it's kind of like you don't want to put that money in there because you might fucking need that money for payroll or to pay one of your subcontractors or your distributor. Because I know you run it and think the way that I do is like all of those things come first.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you're probably a little paranoid to spend that money. It's like, well, fuck, I don't even know what my taxes are going to be. So why the fuck am I going to pay on something if I don't even know what it's going to be?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like, literally, you can have a couple $1 million in the bank one day, and then the next day have less than 100,000. I mean, the swings are that drastic. And so it's stressful. And what really saved me from shitting my pants this year a lot of times was just looking back on previous years, especially the scaling years, where I'm like, I remember this. Back then it might have been 200,000 down to 20,000, but I remember this and I remember being freaked out. And then I remember, okay, we still have accounts receivable. So, you got to shift your focus. Like, I can really jump into any part of the business that I want to and kind of boost that up. I can't do everything all at once. I've got a great team that does it, but as needed, I'm kind of looking at everything as a controller and I'm like, okay, we're going to need some money. So I'm going to go over here and work on getting some money. And it starts coming in and it's like, okay, we got the money. Shit, we got to get this part done. We got to get the roofs built. Like, these people, so, I mean, that's kind of the position that I get to run, that I'm privileged enough to run in the business. And, they say pressure is a privilege, right? And it is a lot of pressure.
But less of the stress around here, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And I really do feel, of course, at times it beats you up a little bit, but man, I just feel like I'm going to be relentless. Like, I'm not going to lose, especially at this point. Right. I mean, I'm in it to win it. I can't give up now. I've got, not just for myself, not just for my brothers, but I've got employees that have families that are counting on us. Like, I have to make this work. So it's pretty cool, man. It's fun.
Yeah, Brandon, cool. You get it, bro.
Yeah, he does.
You get it
for sure. He definitely gets it, and that's why I like I told him earlier before we got on here tonight is that I was super excited to have him on the show tonight to kind of show him off. Like, look, listen, this guy's one of my Revolt brothers. We're both mentored by Hunter Blue and his team, and then mentored with our other brothers. You know what I mean? Like, we had a little lunch and a couple of us got together, and just to look around that room. And not just the revenue that these gentlemen produce,
right?
But like, I know he's as crazy as I am,
right? And he don't think you're crazy.
No, and he doesn't think I'm crazy, not whatsoever. Like, the conversations, it's almost like going to an AA meeting, and some of the shit that we share with each other. And like Vic's over there, like, yep. I understand. Well, I can have those business conversations with him.
That's good.
And
good you guys have that.
And can talk about things like oh, fuck, I got hit with taxes, and that number. It's like, that doesn't shock me because we've been there, we've did that, and it's like, he knows he's going to get through it because he surrounded himself around the right people. He said he's already made some calls. He's got some meetings lined up. Now he's just got to walk through that. And there's light at the end of the tunnel. And when you do that mind shift of like, okay, it's not even about that. We got money over here. We got other lives and families that we're trying to feed here. And I know from my experience of doing this for a while, whenever I put the people over profit, and not to sound cliche or whatever, whenever I might shift my mind over to how much more important the people that work for me are than profit or revenue or the bills that we have to pay, whenever we put payroll first, it has always worked out somehow, some way. That one check showed up at the last fucking minute.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
When I'm running home at lunchtime to check the fucking mailbox, like it has come to fruition somehow, some way by just continuously doing the next right thing. There's like this force or this magic. And we've talked about like this magic, and I don't even try to question it or figure it out. I just know it. Yeah, I just know it happens whenever I know that my intentions are right and that I've done more good than bad. It just seems to work out tenfold every time for me. Every time for us. I mean, you guys have seen it time and time again.
I see it all the time. I mean, I don't get to see, some of the nitty gritty stuff like that. That's other people's positions that I don't have to deal with. And I'm honestly, I don't want that stress. But I see the magic, bro. I see the magic that happens here. And Brandon, you have to have the magic at your place too, man. Cause I don't care who you are, bro. You're not having, 8-figure company without having fucking a hell of a team behind you, bro. Like, and accomplishing some crazy shit and stuff that, is easy to turn the blind eye to if you're not involved in it, and when we talk about the circle of safety here, it's so important when you're trying to scale and you're trying to do the things that we're trying to do, perfect the system, perfect the process, make sure it's easily duplicatable. When you order a cheeseburger at McDonald's, it needs to be the same in fucking Russia as it is here. That's the stuff that Ty says. And it's like, it's so true. Cause it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you put the roof on. It doesn't matter who goes to do it. It doesn't matter what shingles you put on. Like the job needs to be done the same way, using the same process, because that's what works. You know what I mean? And that's easily duplicatable, easily scalable.
Absolutely. Just to go back on, putting the people first and, impact before income. Like I said, we were talking about this before the show started, man. And like the biggest catalyst to the way that we scaled the business really had everything to do with Revolt, but more specifically, what we took away from Revolt at the very first free retreat that we went to. And it was just a feeling in the room, like where you're questioned, you're pressured into like, why are you doing this? What is your legacy? Right? Like this is just right now, it's just a job. It's just money. You're doing fine, whatever, but why are you doing all this stuff? And it hit me and Aaron so hard, man, that like on that 12-hour ride back to Wisconsin, we cried like freaking babies the whole way, man. Had more deeper conversation than we had ever had in our entire lives, got super serious, dialed in. And before we got home, we're like, we have to do this for our team. Like they got to feel this, man. And so it's funny, we joke about it, but down to like the design of the shirts, the notebooks, like the exercises, you name it, dude. We literally just cloned a free Revolt retreat and did all them exercises with our team. And when our team felt that feeling and understood that we were invested in them, that we wanted to know what their goals were so that we could help them get there and hold them accountable, and they could use the business as a tool to get to where they wanted to go, dude, that's when people started buying in, and they're like, we're in it to win it. Like this is a common mission, and we were like all going the same direction. And so absolutely. And then you have to actually do that shit, right? You can't just say it at a retreat, get everybody all pumped up, because that was in the middle of winter. And I mean, if you're not living it, if you're not practicing it daily in your business, and if they don't continue to feel that, then it was just some bullshit, and they know that. And then you're fake, and then it's not good. They're gonna bounce on you quick.
Yeah, it's harder to come back from that.
Yeah, definitely. So, but that was it, man. That really was it. And I'll be real honest with you, man. Like before that Revolt retreat, for us, it was about the money, man. And we questioned and couldn't figure out why we continued to hit our revenue goals and make the money and get the houses and the vehicles and the trucks and everything like that, but didn't have any fulfillment, right? It was always like, as soon as you get the thing you're going for, what's next? Like, you're still hungry, right? And it's just never fills you up. But when you see the impact that you have on someone else, and you can see that, well, I'm changing this person's life, and then you have people coming to you like breaking down, crying, like, what you're doing is so important, and like, you've changed my entire life and my family, and telling you the stories, then it's like, whew, like, I'm full, dude. Like, this is what I want. This is why I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just kind of live for that, and that's what you're chasing. And then it gets super fun, dude. Like, then it's real, you know. And then, ironically, as much as it isn't about the money, that shit just happens. The money just comes. It literally just falls into your hands, because I really feel like the universe is like, well, you have shown that you're responsible enough that it's not about you, that you're gonna give bountifully to other people, and then, like, it just happens, right?
Yeah, it does. And it's crazy. We talked about it a little bit earlier. It's just like, I don't even question that. You know what I mean? And if you continuously try to do the next right thing, and when you were talking there, it's like, you know, when we first get in business, it's the first level is the survival, right? Like, when you first get in, it's about, I got bills to pay, I got mouths to feed. You know, I need a place to live, I need a car. And then, you know, then it's status. It becomes like proving your haters wrong, at least for me. And I wrote this down a while ago, like a long couple, I don't know, year or two ago. And it's, you know, proving your haters wrong, having a nice house, keeping up with the Joneses. And at some point in time, I think a lot of people kind of slow down at that status level. And then if you don't, then you start to experience that freedom, right? That freedom that, you know, I've made enough money, so I don't have to go to the office every day or spend more time with my family. And I see where a lot of people get stuck in that freedom thing. Like, I hear a lot of people, especially on social media, about, like, you know, that financial freedom, you know, so I can spend more time. And it's like, I don't know if I've ever experienced that. I think I jumped right over the fucking freedom part over to the purpose part, like you touched on, right? Like, the purpose of, you know, how do I want to be remembered? You know, the legacy part of it, right? Like, having an impact on people and improving the quality of other people's lives, because we have been so blessed, right? And we don't want to take that for granted, because we didn't do half of this. And you talked earlier about, like, you don't know why. Well, there is a little bit of, like, luck or whatever sprinkled in that. But I think a lot of that has to do with continuously doing the next right thing. Like, I'm not out to fuck people. Like, I'm conducting business in the most ethical possible way that I know how, and probably too ethical.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Too transparent, too honest. You know what I mean? Like, I can't sell a fucking window for $1,200 fucking dollars. I know I'm only paying XYZ for it. Like, I can't do that. That's why I'm not in sales.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't do that. You know, you know, how do I want to make an impact on other people's lives? My legacy. It's about realizing why I was put on the earth and pushing it to the limits of being the best version of myself, operating at the highest level of the pyramid, doing the things that no one else has ever done. And I talk about that all the fucking time. And it's like, you know, the enemy of great is good, right? Like, good just fucking sucks. Okay is just not fucking okay. Like, it's got to be great, greater, or fucking greatest. Right. That's what I'm achieving. And I'm not saying being like the greatest with the most money in my pocket. I'm talking about pushing my team to have them become the best version of themselves.
Yep.
And I have to lead by example. If I'm showing up late and I'm fucking leaving early and doing all of these things, yes, I go on a revolt retreat so I can come back jacked the fuck up, let it trickle down from me so my team can be jacked up with me. Right. So they can become the biggest, best version of themselves, you know, helping others have an impact on other people, coming to realize that the money is only a tool to be able to do those things. Right. Like, at this point in time, the money's become a tool. So we can hold community functions, so we can help somebody get a roof, a veteran put a roof on their home. And it's not even about marketing. Half that shit we didn't even let people know that we were fucking doing. We were just putting roofs on people's shit.
Yeah.
Right. And then like
Mhm.
somebody else found out, and it's like, then they put it on social media, but then somebody was like, are you being humble or are you hiding? And it's like, well, fucking put it on social media. And then if I'm not putting it on social media, then I'm realizing how selfish am I being, because my team put in the work to put this roof on this gentleman's
Mhm.
house. So if we don't put it on social media, that's me being selfish, because now they can't celebrate that impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, Ty, but you know, it's exponential. So you put that on social media, people then become aware of why you want to do business with a company. You know, where's my money going? Is it going in a pocket so this guy can, you know, ride on a yacht, or is he going to give, you know, 5% of his profit away this year to funding roofs for veterans, or, you know, feeding the homeless, feeding 800 homeless people on Thanksgiving Eve, or whatever the countless other things that we do. So that brings in more revenue because people fuck with that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that on top of that will then allow more things to happen because more people fuck with that. So it's just an exponential, you know, the snowball rolls down the hill. But listen, real quick, guys, I don't want to cut us off here. We have great conversation going real quick. We have a very special premiere here. Mr. Captain Hook himself, the sponsor, the main sponsor of our show. Well, actually, I don't want to say main sponsor. We have
one of
a
our
couple,
sponsors.
One of our sponsors. He actually has a commercial.
Yeah.
And we are going to do the world premiere of the Hook Agency's commercial here. Vic, if you want to roll that for us, man. I hope Tim's in here to see this.
Roofers, you want at least 5 solid lead gen tactics building chemistry. Let's say you have door knocking, referral systems, job site branding, and you add in aggressive SEO, paid ads, and boom! Smells like more leads. HookAgency.com.
That's awesome. Now, Hook Agency. Hook Agency is a Google specialized marketing team that only works with contractors offering SEO, Google Ad Management Plus website design.
Yeah, and my man has figured out a formula. Maybe it was the girl that was in that commercial that figured out the secret formula for the cologne that he has. He actually has his own brand of cologne that smells like more roofing leads.
Seriously?
It smells. Dude, I'm dead serious, bro. I'm dead serious. If you scroll back through my Facebook and through Ty's Facebook,
it's a cologne. You wear it.
Yeah, cologne. It smells like more leads.
It's
what it's called.
It smells like more leads, but it is my truck cologne. It does smell good. I have it on right now. And I'm not just saying that because he's a sponsor of our show. I wear that shit on every other day other than Wednesday too. So, but you know, with that being said, man, this is another one of those things that just kind of happened to work out. We are on the 3-year anniversary.
Yeah.
We just did a world premiere of a commercial for one of our sponsors on a podcast, bro, that we just tried to sell gazebos on. Like, this shit it's pretty crazy. It's cool. I want to do a special shout out to the people like David Bruno, to the people like David KX.
Zach
you know,
Fisher.
Zach Fisher, you know, the team at TC Backer that continuously watch this show, Mike Brown down there in Glen Burnie, man. You know, we can't say thank you enough, man. You guys watch this show. You guys have grown with us and seen where we started, where we are now. And now, you know, we went from sitting in a basement and learning and not knowing what the heck we were doing in a studio basement, to now being, I want to say, probably the #1 roofing podcast in the country. So
yeah,
that, you know, maybe I'm being humble, but
I think we're number one. Regardless if we are or not, we're number one.
Yeah, we're number one. And we're not going anywhere, man. And that's because of you guys, man. It's because of you guys. It's because of all the people that watch this shit, that share it, and appreciate the stuff that we put on here, and give the guests love, and all the guests that want to come on here, man. Guys like Brandon, like, thank you for wanting to even come on here. I see Dylan Mullins up in here, man. Me and Ty were just talking about you the other day on how cool it is that we had a man from another company somewhere in the country that we've never met in our lives, knew who we were and put it on his bucket list to be on our fucking podcast, bro. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy cool, dude. Yeah. It's crazy cool. So I appreciate you guys. But let's just hop right back into this great conversation, and I don't want to take it at horses anymore, Brandon.
Yeah. So Brandon, let's switch it up here a little bit. So what is something you are going to do that sets you apart from your worthy rivals next year?
That's a good one.
That is a good one. You know, this kind of goes back to the tax stuff, right? And there's so many benefits to it. But I just thought of that, like, for a long time in the business, before it was about impact, before it was about helping other people, it was like the same conversation we just had about tax. Like, I don't want to give this money away because I might need it. But it's gotten to a point where it's like, I'm not saying like we're freaking billionaires or anything like that, not even close, but you realize that there is an excess of money. And then you get to the end of the year and you're like, shit, what do I do, man? Like, I got to go buy a bunch of stuff I don't need, or like invest in volcanic ash and donate it to Haiti, like super possibly sketchy shit, right? It's like, why not just, I mean, we have so many people around us that could use our help. And so we've got a team built. A couple of the people in the business are super passionate about it, and probably more than show it, but at least I work with these people directly in the office. And so they're really gung-ho about leading that charge. And so we're just going to give back like crazy, man. Donating roofs, having events. We've got this other unit next door that we bought that's like 3,500 square feet wide open. So we can bring people in and feed people and like have drives where you're like giving away coats and hats and just whatever it might be that people need. But we're going to dial in on that this year, 2023, and really just blow it up, man. Cause that ties right back into the impact. Like, nobody that works for me is like homeless, right? Or super poor to the point where like they don't know where their next meal is coming from. But there are people out there like that, man. And so when you see somebody like that you're able to impact and make a huge difference, even if it's just a meal or if it's just a freaking set of gloves or whatever, like that's a whole nother level of impact, man. And so like just going to focus in on that stuff.
Yeah. And that's great too, man, because that keeps it keeps it real. It keeps it humble. And I know for us here at TC Backer, it's really helped our culture.
Yes.
Cause like we closed down Thanksgiving Eve, we go down into the city and we fed over 500 people this year at one time in one city. It was like 800 people. And the team, right? Like we're doing this together, and it's almost sounds impossible to deep fry 77 turkeys in about 3 hours and feed 800 people, right? But guess what? We did it. We did it as a team. It wasn't a tiebacker show. It was everybody. It took everybody to man a turkey pot. It took everybody to pick the turkeys. It took everybody to put the mashed potatoes on the tray. Then it just like the assembly line. We just built an assembly line, and it took everybody to the last person putting the personal pie and the bottle of water in the bag and handing it to that person. Like we did that, and the camaraderie and the fellowship that we experienced has catapulted our business. You know what I mean? It was like we weren't even like necessarily looking for any more work or trying to make any more revenue. It just happened. It like mushroomed. Like the effect, the impact that we had on the community. And the way that I look at it too, it's like, if you honestly sit back and look at it, and it's like, what has been so freely really given to us, right? Like, yes, we worked, and yes, we've earned these things, and everybody has earned this. But really at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know for you, Brandon, but I ask myself, like, why me? Right. Yeah. And it's like the community has been so good to us. The least we could do is give back to the community and have like a major impact. And one of the things that we dialed in on is we focus on the same area. Like we do food drives, we feed, we clothe the same church.
Okay.
There's a homeless shelter right across the street from this church that's really involved with those less fortunate people. So we were at first, when we started to do this, we were kind of all over the place, different towns over, different city and stuff like that. And we kind of felt like we weren't really making an impact anywhere.
Yeah.
And we were introduced to this Pastor Joel, and like he just does so much for the city and does it so humbly, right? Like this guy's not just one of the most humblest dudes you'll ever want to meet, man. And we saw that he could use some help, and we decided to kind of dial in on that. And he has a food pantry there that we fill up, once or twice a year for, to try to help them out. And that impacts thousands of families between hygienic products, food, diapers, all kinds of stuff that we do there. We did a diaper drive. We donated 20,000 freaking diapers, right? Yeah, like dude. That's insane. Yeah, we had an entire 16-foot long box truck Or no, what did we pack up? Two vans?
2 vans.
Yeah, two
Bro,
vans.
it was mad diapers. It's
Yeah.
like go to the grocery store and like picture all the diapers in there, and it's not even that. It's more than that.
Right. And we didn't even know that, like, how much of a need there was for adult diapers.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't even know that until we spoke to this guy. Like, how many adults really need diapers, especially financially struggling people, you know, elderly, you know, mentally handicapped, whatever, that actually need adult diapers. That was something we did differently this year, but the same facility, we accommodated the same facility. So just as a recommendation, I guess, if you know, check out a local food bank or an organization like we have. We're fortunate enough that Pastor Joel he has self-help meetings that he holds at the church. He's got a food pantry at the church, the homeless shelters across the street.
He does so much, man. He does so much for this community.
Yeah.
And like he's the type of guy that wants to do from like back here. He doesn't really want to, he doesn't want to get any recognition. He's like, you know, it's just the right thing to do, you know?
Yeah.
And he's just so humble about it, man. You know, we had him on the show. Cause we go live from the 21 Turkey Salute every year. And, you know, this past year, we had him on there for the whole episode, you know, fortunately, but you know, he just kept trying to dodge the questions. And he's like, nah, man, I don't want to talk about me. Let's talk about like this or this event or like this. Like, don't talk about me. It's really not about me. And like, it's just, he does it for the right reasons, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He does it for the right reasons. And it's really cool and humbling. Alex Founds, man, I appreciate you saying that, dude. You know, real quick, Brandon, Alex Founds is one of our salespeople from our distributor that we use. It's, you know, primarily using the 5, 6, whatever states that we do business in. But I'm sure you can agree with this, Brandon, because of, you know, the scale that you are. Partnerships in business.
Yeah.
This shit is not possible without having partners that have the same beliefs, the same values, the same vision as you, and you know, just constantly striving for the same thing, man. And there's plenty of times that, you know, I've made a phone call to you on a Saturday just to see if you'd answer your phone as a test, and that man answers his fucking phone every time. It doesn't matter.
Partner. Yeah.
It doesn't matter, bro. You know, what do you need? I'm fishing. Like, what do you need? But kudos to you, Alex, man. I appreciate you for everything that you do for us. You know, he's grooming into his own thing. You know, we've watched him grow. And, you know, I can say that for countless other companies that we do business with and that we've built the partnership with, and we don't just throw that out there just to throw that out there. Not looking for or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's real shit, man. This guy really does stuff for us, and we really do for him, man. And we care about that. There's loyalty there. There's respect there. And that's important to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That, you know, makes perfect sense. Like, there's so many things in business and in life and in everything that just ties together. And I think the older that I get, the more experience that I get, the more I see the relationships and the way things kind of just tick together. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you guys were just saying, like, find a church, find a homeless shelter, whatever to partner with. Well, absolutely. Our business wouldn't be where it is today without the partnerships that we built with our suppliers, with our, you know, our labor force, like our employees, whatever team of people that you want to look at as a partnership. Why wouldn't our impact be greater with a partner? Right. So that's a great point, man. I'm definitely going to take that and run with it and start looking around. So thank you.
Yeah. We kind of fell into it, man. So it was good. It just felt like we weren't really we put a roof on Crispus Attic. Attic.
Yeah. Crispus Attic Center. Which is, it has a lot of functions, man. It's basically a center for kids to go to after school to keep them off the streets. Okay. We did that out in Lancaster, man. And it was like, dude, that was my moment. Okay. Mm-hmm. When I say moment, I mean, that was my eye-opening experience. I obviously know that, like, there's a lot of underprivileged shit that goes on in the world and you know, people that are less fortunate than me. Right. But, if you never experience the shit right in your face, dude, like, you really don't understand, the impact and like, what it has on you watching that. And we were putting this roof on for this place, and it just so happened to be the same day that they were giving food out. for the food bank. And dude, the amount of people there that were getting food for their families was like crazy to me.
Yeah, staggering.
Dude, it
around
was
the block.
staggering, right? And
Wow.
like, and I'm sitting there thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, so you probably got one, maybe two people representing their family out here right now, right? The impact that this building right here has on the entire community. Like each person here is probably feeding four to six people in their house, maybe more. It's just staggering, dude. There was thousands of people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is crazy, dude. And like people were like coming up and thanking us, and like it, dude, it was the feeling that it gave me that day, man. I remember calling Ty after we left there, and I was like, dude, this is what I'm on this earth for. Like this kind of shit right here is what I am on this earth for. And like, dude, ever since then, we say it all the time. It's like every couple months, it's like
we're due.
We're due. We need to do something, man.
We got to find something to do.
I need to feel that fucking juice.
Oh, yeah.
That warm blood,
man. You got to keep re-upping. It's no different than, you know, the revolt stuff, the impact stuff with our team. That's what we call our revolt within the business is impact. But yeah, I mean, it's not just a thing that you can just do one time and expect that to carry on. Again, relationships with all kinds of other things. It's your fitness, it's your relationship with your spouse, whatever it might be. I mean, Tom Bilyeu actually has something that fits right in with this, and it's the second law of thermodynamics. But basically, anything that you're not actively pouring energy to turns to chaos. Like it's going to be chaotic. Like think of a house that gets abandoned that nobody's maintaining, or whatever it might be. Like it's going to turn into chaos. So you have to continually pour energy into that thing that you want to flourish. And you know, it's so spot on, dude. Like it's a thing you got to continue to do, and then you can build on it. Then the opposite is momentum, and then you can, I mean, really see how far you can take something.
Absolutely, man. And like that day that we did that Christmas Addicts, man, there was employees out there working, right? And there was only, I think, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 of us out there that knew what was going on, that we were doing this for free. And the employees found out midway through. And remember Colin came up to you and was like, dude, I don't want paid today. Like I don't even clock me in for hours today. I don't even want to get paid. Like that right there, bro.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the impact. That's the impact. That's the culture.
Yeah, and like I said, it does definitely help the culture. It brings us together as a team, and it's much more deeper than just like a working relationship. It has brought us together like a tight knit family to go through our own struggles personally, professionally, and then to help other people who are struggling. Like your problems don't seem that important anymore, right?
Sure.
No matter like what's going on in your life at that time, and no matter how bad we think that we have it. When you go out and get in the trenches, you know, and help people, you know what I mean? Those that need help that are actually helping people, that's where it gets deep.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
You know, that's a great point, Ty, because all those people out there are out there helping people, and they need help themselves. You know what I mean? But they're out there helping people.
Yep.
So that's a great point.
Yeah. It's, you know, it's good stuff. So,
yeah, really good shit, dude. Really good shit. So
love it.
Yeah. So Brandon, we're a little bit early for this question, but I'm going to hit you with this question, man. I ask this question to every guest that comes on here. You know, you run a very successful business. I'm sure that you could hit the stage if you wanted to, that Ty was talking about earlier, where, you know, you don't have to show up as much. You could probably just go on trips and enjoy your family and, you know, have someone run the business for you and just collect a check, right? What drives you and motivates you to not only show up every day, put an honest week's work in, but perform at a high level every single day? What motivates you to do that?
Man, going right back to the second law of thermodynamics, dude, like this thing was built on mine and Aaron's leadership. And I mean, I've had years where I wasn't as present, and shit hits the fan when you're not around. And it's not to say that my team isn't capable of it, but somebody's got to lead the charge. Somebody's got to be there. I really enjoy my role as not so much the operations manager or like that side of the business anymore, but more like, honestly, dude, just going around and like finding out on a personal level, like, what can I help you with? having conversations, even though I don't have really anything to do with sales. On the business setting, those are the guys that typically need the motivation. So I love having conversation with the sales guys, like one-on-one. I'll spend hours on the phone just walking around out back and like, hey, what's the issue? Like, and it's not like, hey, your sales are down. What can I do to pump you back up? But it's just an organic conversation that happens. And then being able to take the things that I learned in Revolt and the, the fitness training stuff and like all the ways that I'm blessed to be able to invest in myself and pour it back into the team. So if I'm not doing that, then things will eventually start to kind of go downhill. And I don't want that. Like I said, I can't allow that to happen. Like, and it's not that much to ask of me, right? To just be a source of inspiration for the team. And of course, get in there and get dirty like when I need to. But, the very reason that I'm able to stay out of the day-to-day grind is what allows me to be the source of inspiration. Like, I'm a human, dude. I'm going to get my ass kicked and start to feel down and like not be motivated after day in and day out of just grinding. So that's my position, I really feel like. And so that's why I keep coming back, because I love doing that,
Yeah.
Great answer.
Yeah, it was
Great
a good answer, man. And that's an authentic, real answer. And it sounds like you love what you do, man. And you love having an impact on your people. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, Chris, you were talking about, it's like, we jumped over that freedom part of it. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people are always trying to figure out a way to get out of doing work instead of trying to figure out how to get to work, kind of thing. And I think that's why our statistic in the roofing industry, the first 3 to 5 years, most roofing businesses don't make it, because I think they're just in search of that freedom part of it. You know what I mean? The easy way out. And, they want to do that survival thing. They want to make a lot of money. They want to buy the cars. They want the fancy truck with no ladder rack on it, which I still don't understand that shit. But
yeah, way up there, your ladder rack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But you got to put the time in. You got to figure out who your people are. You really got to, and I think that says a lot about you as a person too, because it's not about profit. It's about the people and having an impact on their lives and really finding out who they are, who their family is, and creating a relationship with them on a much deeper level, that they're not just tools, they're human beings. They have lives, they have families, and that they're there to try to support their families. And that's a lot of weight on us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's the weight of the world on our shoulders. And to give a shit enough about them to make sure that they can provide for their families, whether it be through Christmas, the holidays, Thanksgiving, and not even on holidays, but just to be able to watch them drive a new vehicle into the parking lot, or a new motorcycle, or a grocery getter, whatever their flavor of vehicle is. That's why I show up today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is to watch them grow. There's Jocelyn just had a baby, right? She was confident enough to have a family working here.
Yeah.
Right.
For real, man. That's huge.
Right. Like Sam's pregnant right now with Tyler. They both work here. Like, they're confident enough, to have a family working here today. I'm sure the list could go on.
Dude, you remember when COVID was going on and we were in the middle of a fucking statewide lockdown and we had people buying houses and cars and all kinds of shit? Like, it's like,
yeah, they had no doubt in us.
We have our own fucking economy here, bro.
Yeah, they actually thought, we had our shit together during COVID.
Like, I can't leave my house, but I'm going to go fucking buy one.
Yeah. All right. But that's, because, and we can't do that without them. You're why I have the confidence I have today. You're why I have the confidence that I have today, is because you're so good at what you do. I can do what I do, and you're so good at what you do and because of that, he has a job today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not even all about me showing up every day. It's about the entire team showing up and them being so good at what they do. I get to show up today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The door's unlocked every single morning when those guys come here. And that's my main goal, is to know that they have that comfort of not even thinking about that. That's not even a concern in anybody's mind, that the ACH won't be there Friday morning, or the door's going to be locked, with shut off notice from Med Ed on the on the door or whatever like that. And believe me, there was times it came close. You know what I'm saying? But we were able to shelter them from that type of stress and go without ourselves, without them having to worry about if they were going to get a paycheck or not. And I feel like that's probably, if I was ever going to question how did we make it as far as we have or as long as we have, and Brandon, same for you, man. And just know this, continuously doing the next right thing, taking care of your people. And that means, those that immediately work with you and those that are in your community. And of course, first and foremost, your family, being the best father. If you can't be a great father, you can't be a kick-ass leader.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about that a little bit in my breakout down there at RoofCon, to be, you gotta be a kick-ass dad if you're going to be a kick-ass leader. And it's the same thing. It's like we're a parent here at work too. It's like, these are our children, and we got to take care of them like they're our children.
Yeah.
And,
Leadership, man. That's all it is.
Yep. Try
Leadership.
to provide them the life that they've always wanted, and that's, create a career. I don't want it to just be a job at a roofing company. No, this is a fucking career, man. You got a 401k, you got paid time off, you get whatever, basically whatever they want, man. And they know if they want it, we all got to work together to get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we set that expectation, that goal. It's like, all right, we want 401k. Okay, what the fuck are we going to do to work together to get that? What are we going to do? And we all pulled together, and it was like, okay. And finally we went through a couple different banks to hear what they had to offer, and went to another bank to see what they had to offer. And then we finally came up with a good bank that handles all of it for us. And, and the return on it, I mean, I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but I mean, it's just money going in the bank each week for everybody.
I don't even look at it, bro. It doesn't exist to me, and it's not ever going to exist to me until I'm old. And that's the point of it. We signed everybody up, and not to hold the show hostage, but I had so much confidence in the team. Okay. We had so much confidence in the team that at the time that we did it, I didn't want it to affect anybody's paycheck. So we gave everybody $1 raise. One for inflation, 25 cents or 75 cents of it was for inflation at the time, right? Which was probably over the inflation. So we gave everybody 75 cents. And then we negotiated with the bank that the minimum each week would be, I think $10 a week, if that's all they could afford. So that was 25 cents times 40 hours. So then it wouldn't, that $10, they wouldn't feel that $10 plus they got another 75 cents an hour on top of that. You know what I mean? And that's that we had, our payroll increased fucking, I don't even know how much, dude, like fucking 50%. It was so ridiculous, and it freaked me out. But you know what? This was what, 2-3 years ago. Yeah, I think it was like 2 years ago.
2 years ago. And it's like, it's just like the new norm. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But everybody busts their ass. They do their fucking thing. And somehow, some way, the money's there every week for everybody.
Yeah.
I remember
a little bit. It was gangster, bro. It was like one of the most gangster things I've ever seen in my life. We're all like, the whole company is sitting in a meeting with members first, talking about these 401ks, and my man just walks in front of everyone and is like, $1 raise to everyone. Like, it was like what the fuck?
I remember having the exact same feelings about it. We did it. It was probably 2 or 3 years ago too, and health insurance, 401k, PTO, all that. And it was really when we started working with Paychecks, they were able to facilitate it for us. But I remember back in the early days when we didn't even have employees, like I had people working in the office, like, you're 1099. That was messed up. But when we did start to bring people on as employees and stuff, it's like, man, wouldn't it be cool if we could give them real job shit like 401ks and PTO and all that? And I was like, well, how are we going to afford that? Like, just doing quick math in the head, it's like, well, that's going to cost us this much money per month or per year or whatever. And you hit it right on the head, dude. Like, as soon as you do it, it becomes a new norm. And I don't even feel it. Like it hasn't. If I look back on, I just posted our nets for like the last 5 or 6 years in our chat, and it's like, it didn't affect anything, man. If anything, our nets probably increased because now you're dipping into a better pool of people. Like, you have people that are serious about their jobs that are going to come in, like, treat it very seriously and give it everything they want. So, I mean, it's just one of the things, you got to have the faith to invest in it and know that it's going to pay return eventually. And you don't even do it for the return, but it does return. It will.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't help anything with taxes, so it wasn't like a fucking tax write-off
Right.
either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and that's cool. And like Chris, you said, it's no longer a job anymore, Brandon. It's a career now for those people. You
Yeah.
know, like someday someone's going to be able to retire from Brookens Construction, man, and that's something that you can fucking walk around with pride with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
Like
man.
that someday.
All the time. Like I just want people. I want the level of impact on my team to be when they talk about their life. It's before Brookens and after Brookens, right?
Mhm.
Like it's got to be that real for them.
Right on, man.
I like that.
God, what a great episode.
Yeah, this has been a really great episode, guys.
It's been
John
great.
Stauffer, thank you for posting that up there. Guys, if you want to be alerted prior to anyone else finding out and get updates about the show, make sure you subscribe to the Behind the Toolbelt e-news at behindthetoolbelt.com/e-news/#e-news. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/@behindthetoolbelt923. Or you can just go to YouTube and search for Behind the Toolbelt. Yeah, do it. I've been saying this for a long time, and my fucking numbers are not increasing.
No.
I'll get you one today, man. I don't know if I'm.
Oh, man, I appreciate you.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, man. It was good. I wish the only thing I regret, not about this show, but the Revolt Retreat, is that we didn't get to spend enough time together to really talk, man. There was so much going on, and we were broken up in different tribes and stuff. But next time we get together, man, let's be intentional about the time that we spend together, because you're a good fucking dude, and I want you in my life, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Feel the same. Thank you guys for having me on the show.
Hey, thank you for coming.
I was just seeing kind of the names popping up on your intro. I was like, holy shit, there's some heavy hitters in here, dude. I'm honored to be here. So thank you.
Yeah. It's awesome, dude. It's awesome. Behind the Toolbelt family. I'm going to stop saying TC Backer family. Behind the Toolbelt family now.
Yeah, there you go.
We're 3 years deep, bro. This is Behind the Toolbelt family.
Yep.
We appreciate you guys, man. We appreciate you guys for always watching. We will be coming at you next week with the man, David Bruno.
Yeah.
We have the after Christmas special because he's always here right around Christmas. So all you marketing people, get your butts in here next week. David Bruno is always a fun episode, man. Super laid back. He's a local IQ guy with USA Today. So make sure you hop in here next Wednesday.
Retired porn star.
Yeah, retired porn star from Cali. Fun stuff. So
right on.
He loves that shit.
He does.
But yeah, next Wednesday, episode 157, the first episode of the 3rd year.
Wow.
We'll see you guys, we'll see everyone next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Brandon, it's great seeing you. Everyone have a good rest of the week.
Thanks,
Be safe this week with the cold front, all you guys, all the winter weather advisories and all that kind of stuff. Everyone be safe. Roofers be safe. Make sure that roof's fucking cleared off before you get up there. Yeah. Oh, anyways, happy holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas to everyone. How the hell did I forget about that? Good call, Vic.
Yeah.
Good call. Vic behind the 1s and 2s, man. Shout him out too. He doesn't ever get camera time, but my man is super important to what happens here behind the scenes.
Yes,
he makes this whole thing look good and run properly. So yeah, everyone happy holidays. We'll see everyone next Wednesday, 7 p.m.
See ya.
See ya.